Mga pare, and then she will be arrested, she will be taken and stoned to death. Stoned to death. Kasi malaking kahihin yung ginawa niya. Na betrothed na siya, and then may nakauna, may nakasingit. Yun ang problema ni Joseph. That's the problem of Joseph. The problem of Joseph is Mary is betrothed to him, and then pregnant. Ibig sabihin, sino ang nakasingit? Sino ang nauna sa kanya? Ha? Sino? So, ito lang, dapat gawin. According to the law, isusumbong niya sa authorities. And then Mary will be. So, pinag-isipan. He decided. He made up his mind. That is what I mean by dilemma. Hindi niya malaman ang kanyang gagawin. Kung isusumbong niya si Mary, definitely Mary will be stoned to death. So, he decided to part with her quietly. In other words, kahit na ginano siya ni Mary, ayaw niyang mamatay si Mary. Life is more important than the law. Ha? Life is more important than the law. So, ayaw niyang mamatay si Mary. Pinag-isipan. That's what I want to say. Why? Because that's the meaning of discernment. Pag-isipan. Gusto kong i-emphasize yan. Kasi ang ating pag-akala sa buhay na holiness is nagdadasal ka palagi, nagdadasal ka, blessed sacrament, nagdadubina, nagdadasaryo, no. Okay lang. Pero holiness is not only that. In fact, holiness for us, active people, is this. Ano ang kalidad ng ating mga desisyon? You know why? Because ang mga desisyon natin ay nakaka-apekto hindi lang sa isang tao, hindi sa maraming tao. For example, kung ako ay director ng isang school, meron akong teacher na hindi ko gusto. For what reason? Hindi ko gusto. Gusto pagbumuka. Gusto bali. Gusto... You know, hindi sabihin, hindi pinag-isipan. Tawag sa opisina. Mag-resign ka na na. Bakit? Hindi ka gusto ng mga estudyante. Or performance. Or, by the way, this is true story. Let's say yung teacher na yun, yung pala nagsusuporta sa kanyang nanay na nasa hospital. Nawalan ng trabaho. Siya pala nagpapaaral sa mga anak kasi walang trabaho. Can you imagine ang consequence ng decision ng director? Ilang tao ang maka-apekto? Then, ang ibig sabihin, marami tayong ginagawang decision. Pinag-isipan ba natin ang consequence ng ating decision? Sino ang ma-apektuhan ng ating decision? That is holiness. Yun ang ibig sabihin ng holy life. Holiness is defined by the qualities. The other one is, what do you do when nobody is looking? Okay lang siguro na gumawa ng maganda. Kung nandiyan ang Inquirer, nandiyan ang ABS-CBN, GMA, nakatutok sa iyong mga camera, you can always do something good. Magtumulong sa mahirap, magpagawa o yung pag namatay ka, igagawa ka ng stampita. No, that's not who you are. In the end, it's only you and God. Dahil Diyos lang nakabawasan ang ating puso. But that's who you really are when nobody is. The third person is John the Baptist. Si John the Baptist. John the Baptist is probably a man of social justice. Okay? Social justice. He's very strong on justice. You don't have it. It's only, you will find that in Luke 3, 10 to 14. It's very interesting text kasi parang ngayon ginawa yan. Okay? What should we do? Sabi ng mga tao kay John the Baptist. If you have 2 coats, give one to someone who doesn't have any. If you have food, share it with someone else. When tax collectors came to be baptized, they asked John, "Teacher, what should we do?" John told them, "Don't make people pay more than they owe." Some soldiers asked him, "What about us? What do we have to do?" John told them, "Don't force people to pay more money to make you leave them alone. Be satisfied with your pay." And when the senators came and asked, "What do we do?" And when the congressmen say, "Okay, what do we do?" On and on. Okay. In the Christian scripture, when I say Christian scripture, I mean New Testament. Again, we use different terminologies kasi when we say Old Testament, yung mga Hudyo sabi, ba't naman tinatawag yung aming Bible na old? So we try to be more respectful and say the Hebrew scripture instead of Old Testament. And then the New Testament, Christian scripture. Out of respect, the same way, that we are advised not to use the word Yahweh anymore. Kasi sa mga Hudyo, very sacred yun Hindi nila pinopronounce yun Pagka nakikita nila sa Bible yung word na Yahweh, they say Adonai. Kasi that's very sacred. Sa atin, very common. So we were advised para hindi magawa na please change the word Yahweh to something else. Next time, nasanay na tayo. But it's at least to be sensitive. So in the Christian scriptures, 1 out of every 10 lines deals directly with the physically poor and the call from God for us to respond to them. 1 out of every 10 lines talks about the poor in the Christian scripture. In the Gospel of Luke, I told you the Gospel of Luke is the Gospel of the poor. 1 out of every 6 line talks about the poor. In the letter of James, the commission, one form or another, comes 1 every 5th line. Talks about that. We cannot ignore that. We cannot possibly ignore that. Now, in the Hebrew scripture, ang faith at saka justice hindi pwedeng paghiwalayin. Kung gusto mong malaman ang kalidad ng pananampalataya, tingnan mo kung mayroong hustisya sa community na yun. For example, here, I say, I look at you, ano kaya ang quality, kalidad ng pananampalataya ng mga tao mo? Well, kung gusto mong malaman, titingnan mo kung mayroong nag-i-exist ba ang katarungan dito? Does justice exist in this community? I was watching a movie. Sabi nung tao doon sa bata niya pag-usap. Gusto mo malaman ang economic status ng isang community? Sabi niya, gusto mo malaman ang economic status sa isang community? Tingnan mo yung basurahan. Baka ang basurahan ay puno-puno at hindi na kukolekta, ibig sabihin yung mga tao doon mahirap. Pagka ang basurahan ay puno pero nakukolekta, middle class siya. Pagka ang basurahan ay walang laman, mayayaman niya. Okay? There's another one is, gusto mo malaman kung anong sitwasyon ng economy ng isang country? How? Pagka nagmamashroom ang mga pawn shops, that means that people are in crisis. Now, if pawn shops at saka ang basurahan can tell you the economic situation, well, ang quality ng pananampalataya makikita mo sa quality ng justice. Now, sa Hebrew Scripture, ang hustisya ay, sabi na, Paano tinatrato ang tatlong klase ng tao? Widows, orphans, and strangers. Yan ang nasa Hebrew Scriptures. Widows, orphans, and strangers. Kung paano tinatrato yung tatlong grupo ng tao yan, dyan mo makikita ang kalidad ng pananampalataya ng tao. Dahil dyan mo makikita ang hustisya. Meron pang hustisya na tatanggap ang mga widows, orphans, at mga strangers or foreigners. Now today, sino yung mga tao na yan? Not necessarily widows, orphans, and strangers. Baka mayroong mga grupo ng mga tao na nangangailangan ng special attention, special care. Sino yun? Yun ang dapat natin tingnan. For example, recently I was talking to a redemptory space. Sabi niya sa akin, you know, our congregation, the Redemptorists, beginning this year, ay ginawa na namin opisyal ang ministry to the families of OFWs. Okay? Bakit? Dahil nakita na ito ang grupo mga tao na dapat bigyan ng special attention. Hindi na pinapansin na before that. Pero ngayon, opisyal na. Opisyal nilang ministry. Ibig sabihin, bibigyan ng mga tao yan, bibigyan ng funding yan. Because nakita nila na dapat dito sila mag-focus sa mga families. So, ano bang nakita natin mga grupo na dapat bigyan ng attention? And how we deal with these people will tell us kung ang quality ng ating pananampalataya. Okay? Now, where we stand with God depends not just upon prayer. Ang katayuan natin sa Diyos hindi lang magdidepende sa ating pagdadasal ng regular or sa sincerity ng our heart, kundi where we stand with the poor. Where we stand with the poor. So, now that's the Old Testament, the Hebrew Scripture. In the Christian Scripture, Jesus goes further. Mas grabe pa ang ginawa ni Jesus. Bakit? He identifies with the poor. Hindi lang sinabi niya, sila ang dapat bigyan ng atensyon. Sila ang dapat tulungan. Si Jesus, ako yun! That's so radical. That is so radical. That's why Christianity is so difficult. It's so difficult. Huh? Because he identifies. He tells us that ultimately, we will be judged on how we treat them. Or bluntly put, mapupunta tayo sa impyerno o sa langit, depende kung tayo nagbigay ng pagkain, tubig, damit, bahay, katarungan sa mahirap. That's how we will be judged. What is that verse? Matthew chapter 25. Matthew chapter 25, yung sin and last judgment, sabi niya doon sa mga tao sa kanan, pasok kayo sa mahal ng Diyos. Sabi nila, bakit? Aba, dahil nung nagugutom ako, binigay mo ako ng pagkain. Nung nauuhaw ako, binigay mo ako ng tubig. Nung may sakit ako, binisita niyo ako. Kailan ka namin nakita ang gutom, uhaw, at binigyan ka namin ng pagkain at tubig. Oh, yung tao na yun. Nung binigay niya ng pagkain, ako yun eh. Ako yun. Then sabi niya sa kaliwa, sorry, kaliwa kayo. Lumayas kayo. Evildoers! Get away from me. Why? Bakit yung akin? Because when I was hungry, hindi niyo ako binigyan ng pagkain. Wow, hindi niyo ako binigyan ng tubig. Ako'y iniskin, hindi niyo ako binigyan. Kaya ka namin nakita na. Wow, kung hindi ka namin binigyan ng tubig at ng pagkain. Ay, yung tao na yung humingi sa'yo, kung yung binigyan, ako yun eh. Wow. It's terrible. Not noticing. And we are like that. We don't notice anymore. We become numb. Nagiging manhid tayo sa ating surrounding. But, so, here, loving God is loving your neighbor. And loving your neighbor is loving God. Yung hindi yung, I love my neighbor because I love God. I love God because I love God. No. It's not because. Total identification. So, hindi mo dapat tanongin, paano kung mamahalin ng Diyos? Paano ba magmahal ng Diyos? Gusto mong malaman magmahal sa Diyos? Mahalin mo yung tao, kasama mo sa bahay na ayaw na ayaw mo. Yung busit na busit ka, yun. There's a famous British writer, C.S. Lewis. Sabi niya, think of someone na pag tinabihan ka sa upuan, you will feel very uncomfortable. Think of someone. Pag-isipin kayo ng tao na pag tinabihan kayo sa upuan ay magiging uncomfortable. Makaisip na kaya? Meron na kayo naisip? Pangalan? Ha? Wala? Nasakto kayo. Anyway, ang susunod niyang sinabi is, after saying na, think of someone who will make you uncomfortable, no? Sabi niya, may that person come soon. Dumating na sana yung coming sa buhay ko. Bakit? Sabi niya, because that is the true test of discipleship. That is the true test of discipleship. Yun ang ibig sabihin ng agape. Agape is not emotional love. It's hindi yung emosyon na yakap-yakap, mahal kita. No! Agape is loving that person because he is a person. Kasi we tend to love only those who love us or yung binibigyan natin ng respect. Kasi, presidente yan. Nag-aral niya sa Harvard. Sa attorney yan. Sige yan. How about yung garbage collector? So you understand? Garbage collector at saka si President lang yung environment. Okay, both human beings. Now you understand why Jesus is always with the garbage collector, tax collectors, prostitutes, para ipaalala sa atin. Para ipaalala sa atin at makita sa atin, itong mga itong ayaw nyo, itong ina-avoid nyo, para lang nyo. Para lang yung karapatan nyo. Yan ang ibig sabihin ng agape. For this reason, Jesus asked us to make a preferential option. Now, what I will flash now is a study made, a survey. This is interesting. Interesting study. Sabi itong study no? According to one study, if the entire world's population were reduced to a village of 100 people, this is what life in that village would be like. Gawin na lang natin ito. Let's pretend na we are 100 here, okay? Kunyari, 100 tayo dito. At ito ang buong mundo. Buong mundo. Ito, 100. Ganito ang itsura. 57 would be Asian. 57. 21 would be Europeans. 8 would be Africans. And 14 would be Western Hemisphere. Mga puting mga karga. Okay? So, Asian ang pinakamalaki. 57. Now, in terms of color, kulay ng balat, 70 would be color. Color would be brown, black, and yellow. 70 color. 30 Caucasian. So 70 tayo. 70 ang color. Ang majority ang color. Okay. In terms of religion, 30 would be Christians. 70 non-Christians. So Christianity is a minority in the world. Half of the wealth of the world could be in the hands of 6 people. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6.